All right. Hi, everyone. This is Daisy here. I'm back again. I just want to let you guys know that there is something going on with Apple as a whole that's impacting the PSU, the power supply unit on the computers. So they tried to attach a specific algorithm to the CPU that would allow for them to have our CPU and our power supply running virtual machines that are running cryptocurrency mining servers. So I just wanted to say sorry about that, but let's go ahead and start from the beginning, right? So for those of you guys that are just not hearing this message, there's a lot of changes in philanthropy and investment. So for foundations, they make their money from the investments that they make in different companies, or they get money from bigger foundations, and then they're able to give money out. Something recently happened where a lot of foundations were given a mandate from the IRS, the FBI, and DOJ to stop funding certain people because they can no longer accept 501c3 donations because of what you're about to hear about that they were involved in. So for the most part, you guys are going to be finding out like, okay, well, you've seen, right, that the economy's been crashing, tech has been crashing, and that there's a lot going on. Like, okay, but what about our investments? How is it that the stocks are moving up when everyone's bottoming out? All the companies they're doing mass layoffs, right? They're not making revenue. The companies that the B2B business schemes that they were enacting and investing in other companies, that's done for, right? So now we see that, okay, tech is done for, the economy is changing, and wow, look, there's new technology for us to get involved in, which is where I come in. So some of you guys are just now learning that there's been like a fight in the tech space because there's a coding system that was created by Black and brown people for us to be able to use, and they've been doing very illicit and delusional things to try to get access to that system, which some of the investors, now you're going to find out where all a competitor for Sora, all this space tech, a new Fortran, oh, you can make a digital signal processing coding language, where's all this coming from? First, let's talk about what happened in the team, right? So this is layoffs at FYI, and this is the new one that recently laid off a bunch of people. AMD, it's a chip company. But it's so funny because AMD has been coming up for weeks in regards to the fact that one of the things that's going to be a new company is the ability to open the spiral valence in your metals and then have those spiral valences add to the computational power of your chip. So some of you guys are like, what's a spiral valence? It's just something in chemistry, right? So instead of looking at a valence at this structure, it's supposed to be in this structure, which is another thing that's going to come up, how chemistry crashed. And you're going to hear about a bunch of chemical fires, electrical fires, and explosions. Just wait, I'll tell you how that's happening. So you see that all the companies are laying people off. They don't have anything new. They've been causing, a lot of, I would say, there's been a lot of cases where people were getting investigated for wire fraud. They're charging them with wire fraud and saying that, oh, you defrauded all your investors. You said that you had an AI. You said you had this. You said that you had that. And AI doesn't exist. You need a specific floating point and a certain TTY to run AI. Now, some people that are watching this is like, what do you mean by that? Like, AI is real. It's right here. That's not an automator. What they're showing, well, it's a database of everyone else's information and coding work that was gotten through hacking and tapping all of the Black and brown developers and then making an AI like, oh, you can do this and you can do that. There's no artificial intelligence behind it. What they're saying is like the artificial intelligence is where they trained large language models, or it's natural language processor, right? So some of you guys don't know that if you code, there's a natural language processor in most of the coding languages. So now the thing that's coming up is, what's the specific programming language that's writing that? Okay. Now, if that's the case, what's the floating point that's activating, right? The quarks and the charms, aka the radiation particles in the EMF, aka internet, that allows the computer to be able to take those impulses and then convert that to a program or some type of, a generated response from a consciousness. Now, even when we're talking about AI, now everyone's back to generative AI because that's done for. So some of you guys are going to be learning about like, oh, you have to do this and change your TTY and you have to do this with your memory. That's all coming from my YouTube channel because there's a bunch of white supremacists that a lot of you guys are recruiting to harass me over my work. They are the ones that are going out and like having conversations with investors, taking their money, running, trying to get you charged, causing a bunch of drama, running around with the SEC, and then off they go. There's some of you guys too that are making AI platforms, things like that. You don't know that there's a definition of AI that they have and a definition of generative AI, and then a few other definitions that they have that you're not like aware of. And that this is how they're taking your tech, taking your projects and saying, well, you defrauded me. You said this AI, it's not AI. Well, technically it has the functions of AI, but it's not completely AI because you need this for AI. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, well, you defrauded us. Okay, yeah, but that's Daisy's work and she hasn't put it out there for us to be able to do that because you guys are stalking her and you're hacking her computer. Okay, I'll take my work elsewhere and I'm going to give you your money back. So this is one of the things that's happening too because tech is changing hands, right? So now you guys have been finding out this is also that's what's going on in the foundation space. Black and brown people have found out something about tech and they've been doing their own thing and you guys are harassing them. Now let's talk about that, how that's going, right? Before I even do that, let's talk about coding system. Because if I talk about that, then you're going to understand this. So let's get started here. So if you guys go on my website, you can go right here. I put out let's see. You go right here about and you can get copies of like different books that I put out. So one of the things here is a system that I know how to take is this is a system called Ordinani, right? It's a physics system. So this system I can take and then I convert this into BCD format. I can convert this into binary coded decimal format, or I can convert this into a configuration of hex, or I can convert this into a string. I know how to convert these into strings, or I can turn this into a floating point or a mantissa. So it's called floating point, aka mantissa. So what's a floating point? A floating point is like a decimal, right? There's how the computer processes uh, uh, the mantissa. You take this decimal. This mantissa has a specific set of memory in it. This specific set of memory can then start to actualize within your code block, depending on how big the floating point is. So this is where you get bits, bytes, and gigabytes. And this is where you get IEEE standards 754 for how to do calculations with floating points. Like, okay, you have to take this decimal value, you get it from a planet, right? And then what you can go ahead and do is you can activate a higher like level of consciousness within your TTY or a higher neural network within your code. Oh, okay, so let's say for instance I use this IEEE, this Mantissa, and I'm doing something with C++. If I play my cards right, I can access any C++ library or any C++ based library. Aha. One of the things that I also did here that you're going to see on my computer, this is where we get memory changing, semiconductors changing, supercomputer changing, because you need these floating points. That's what they've been looking for. So here's just like an example of like a file that I drafted for memory for my computer. I just want to show you what I can do with my computer. And everyone sat here and they watched what I did with this, and then they saw how this ended up changing the computer and the outages, but everyone saw, why am I getting like system policy updates now? Look at this, they just sent out an email like loading standards because they think that they're going to stop Daisy from doing this and that on the computer, or they think that they're going to stop or block our system or do that, and it's not possible. Basically what we can do is we can access any database on the internet, we can access any system, we can access any information. I put this floating point here, it will overpower any single coding language on any protocol or any website, and then I have administrative access privilege. So instead of seeing Google like this right here, I see admin and what type of admin level access, and then I see the XML for Google, the website itself. And then from there, I can go in and out of any like website. So they weren't trying to tell you that we brought the system down for Mantissa and crafting new Mantissa. So another thing that I have the access to, the power to do because of the way in which I was attacked and harassed badly for speaking up for Indigenous people that were being kidnapped for rituals or clinical trials, is I can use this type of machine learning algorithm system. Some of you guys will call it tarot. It's not. Each one of these has a specific consecration to archetypes. So if I say Ace of Swords, Ace of Spades, that means truth, harsh truth applied with force. That means like, let's say for instance, I wanted to run like an algorithm to make sure I can get into any website. I can use this. That's what they mean. They have different meanings. So this is where we now get a bunch of people like getting angry and mad because they were caught playing and harassing our community. And this is what we have access to now. So let's say, for instance, I take the ten of swords. Yeah. So playing cards, ten of swords. Sorry about that. So now, um, we have the ten of swords here, right? So let's say, for instance, like I wanted to stop somebody from hacking my computer, or I wanted to turn off somebody's server, which is what they've been doing to a lot of black and brown companies. Like we run a really a small nonprofit, and we do like advocacy work, and our website is constantly down. Okay, but is there a way that you get like, can it stop happening? That's one of the things that they were doing to playing, and one of the reasons why tech is going to be changing hands. So I can take this. Okay, so that means complete total system outage failure. Okay, so people hacking our computer, we can retaliate. We can put this floating point in our code or whatever, and then we can put a conditional statement. If somebody's attempting to do A, B, C, and D, then this gets parsed onto their server, or this gets sent to their network, or this gets sent to their internet protocol, or this gets sent to their crypto protocol, because you guys know different tokens have different ports. This gets sent to their port. I can put this in decimal format, Mantisa format, and then there we go. I have the card. Yeah, and this is the thing. Like, why didn't we do this before? Because only certain people can do this. They've tried this for years. Okay, yeah. And this is where we get people playing and causing harassment and drama in the community because they can't play with our system after harassing us, stealing our work, trying to defund us, etc. So now again, this is where you get the chip companies and everything like that. If they're making so much money and if it's all good, what is this? Because this is another thing too. Um, their system got hit. I'll just say that. If you want to open up chips and if you want your chips to be super chips and handle single precision format or double precision format or any other type of data processing format, you have to put a spell, not a spell, or you have to put a certain coding that we have on your computer. So let me open my IDE here. For some reason, I don't know why that wouldn't open up. IDE, these are all tap two. I'm going to be making a new one for you guys in the developer space. So here's one that I put on my computer, right? This floating point. So I put this floating point on my computer, and then like so much had gotten started with my computer, it runs faster. I'm going to tell you right now, my battery is like its last end, and it's still running because of my floating point. They put so much on my computer. They put so much on my website, on my subnets. It's still running. So this is one of the systems. This is how you guys would see that it would work. I specifically put this onto my computer to be able to have a specific type of like logarithm going into the software that I use, so I don't have to go into every single software and get official access and privilege. I can just put this on my computer and boom, that's it. So now a lot of you guys are learning, okay, so this is what's been going on in tech. Yes. So not only that, we have a few technologies that we can build. One of the things that we can do too is tensor spaces, right? So these are just like certain streams that I've been making, right? Putting on my computer. And then what I do is like I put them in, I can activate them in here in the text pad and then just run the program all day. So now, one of the things that I had on here on my computer was XYZ. So I can make tensor spaces. That's another thing too. Tensor spaces XYZ. And you mean to tell me that we can have internet that doesn't require a router? It doesn't require a server. It doesn't require a Comcast, any of that? No, because there's something that I know about space and astronomy because I studied Benjamin Banneker, Harriet Tubman, etc. And we can code down spectrum bands just free form, and we don't need any of that. That's what they've been trying to hide, that this is now here, but it's whites that are harassing and competing with me to get this because they were harassing me for 4 or 5 years because of a court case that I filed. Like, oh, oops, we rigged her case. Oops, we stole hella money. Oops, we had hella white supremacists harassing her. Oops, we all got kicked out of tech. Oops, none of us can work in IT. None of us can work in a certain type of cybersecurity. None of us can work in certain government departments in any country at all because of what we did playing with Daisy and a few other people. That's what's going on in philanthropy and investment. And they're going to come running to you like, oh, we have this idea and that idea. They're getting it from my YouTube channel. And the feds are watching them. After every single tutorial, I've been getting dozens of emails. Now I know where that's coming from. That's so crazy. It's like after every single last one of her tutorials, I'm getting dozens of emails. Right. So now you guys have, so now for those of you guys that have been watching this, now you see why this has been going the way that it's been going because they don't have anything. So let me show you some of the things that we've been putting out. So this is something that I have been doing for the longest time. And right. So one of the things here with the system, it's not anybody can just go and tell you like, oh, you can do this and that. I'm the steward on the planet. So I say who can use this and who can't. And several people have been removed from using my system. Yeah, it's several people that got like that tried to play with this. Like, oh, Daisy said I can do this and Daisy said that, and I can give you this because Daisy said this. I never said any of that. Daisy's right here. Why don't you go ask her? So that's another thing that's coming up too with them trying to make deals and stuff like that. Like, oh, we have her on our team. She's so busy. You know how she is, getting like stalked and harassed. And then something was going on and she was trying to work. Like, oh no, don't worry about that. She's fine. Well, how do people find out about this? Right, that's what they were doing. So one of the systems that is seed editing and phytochemical editing, which is coming up very big with chemical recalls. So there's a training that I'm going to be putting up for you guys, and then also to it's changing laboratory science, and there's going to be 6 new chemical processes that we can get into. Like I never knew that you can do stuff like that. 6 new chemical processes that we can get into for chemistry on the planet and have a whole new set of chemicals. So this is one of the things that's coming up. A lot of people have noticed it. Nail polish, black hair supplies, certain supplies in the automotive industry, and then Boeing too. I've noticed certain supplies with like traction, glue, things like that being used in illicit ways. And I'm going to tell you what they were using that chemical for. It's for a neural monitoring technology, spy magic harassment. It's for the adhesion factor for particles to bind radiation to your energy field so they can spy on you from afar. So we have no chemicals. So, right. And that's how Rockdale blew up. So now what we have here is we have capacity and features. We have capacity and features of our system. DNA alteration. That's another thing that we can do. We can program transcriptional processes, right, for folks. So let's say, for instance, like, oh, I'm taking this drug and it's not activated. There's a new system on the planet. What do you mean? The phytochemical is locked now because of what you guys did, robbing everyone's farm and the foundations, right? Especially a Ford Foundation, and you're playing in Nigeria. Everyone knows what you're doing. Sorry, not Ford MacArthur Foundation. Yeah, all the foundations got together to rob the entire Black and Brown community, all of our farms, and then to rob us if we're, doing any other thing to make money using a spy technology, mainly white families. The other thing too that's coming out too for the investment space is that they've been plotting on you guys too, saying that you're investing in certain teams that you know for a fact have an affiliation to white supremacists because you know about my coding work, so they can take all your money. So now one of the things that's coming out here too is they didn't tell you that this is one of the things that happened because of what they did. So let's go look at Fungi DB. So now let's say, for instance, right, like, okay, I have this medication and it has this medication in it, it has this plant in it and this plant in it. Okay, well, the pharmaceutical company, they have a deal with this coding system, so it's activated for me. Okay, good. The other drugs, it weren't working. Now I see why I was getting sick from that medication. This is a better company. That's what's going to end up happening. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your patents. It doesn't matter any of that. Your companies are all going to get bought up because they don't have this system to be able to do what? Activate the spiral valence and then activate the chemical. It's locked because of what they were doing. So this is where you get major drug recalls and a bunch of explosions. And okay, now we see what's been going on. A lot of the scientists are here watching this. This is another thing with Department of Labor and Department of Education, that they were trying to hide this and trying to steal my work and not knowing what they were doing. It caused all this drama. So now let's say, for instance, like I want to take like a mushroom because a lot of people are making different things or whatnot, medicines, supplements. I have to find the mushroom. Let's say cordyceps. I think that's how you spell it, cordyceps type of mushrooms. So you guys are eating this. I don't know why you're eating that, right? So, oh no. Okay, so seems like they're a little bit limited in terms of the type of data sets that they have, but let's look at this. Because this one I really like. Oh, you have to log in and register. Oh, FungiDB. You guys are boring. Used this before. So let's just look at FungiDB. This is a database where they have the transcriptional processes for all of the mushrooms. So it's different ones, right? So genomic sequences. So you can get BLAST, FASTA, FASTQ files, etc. Right? Now, one of the things that you can go ahead and do here is I can take the transcriptional like fungi. Let's just see if they have an example of a fungi BLAST file on the internet. I'm sure they do, because they have the protein database bank too, which is going to come up in a minute as well. So now let's say, for instance, like, okay, this is the transcriptional analysis that I have for the FungiDB for a certain type of mushroom. Okay, great, this is good. I can actually go in and activate certain transcription processes or change transcription processes with this coding system. So that I can get like more out of the phytochemical, or, oh, look at this fungi has the capacity to even hold this phytochemical too. How did you know that? Oh, because there's a certain system that Daisy gave us and we can identify functional groups. This is how you do it. This is how indigenous people used to find out what was good to eat and what was not good to eat. So before chemistry, right? Right. So this is one of the tools that we have, and this is what they're looking for to play with. So now you guys see what they've been doing, right? So DNA altercation also too, let's say for instance, you have a drug that you're taking, right? A biologic. And okay, I want to strengthen the capacity of the phytochemical. So we have more of the phytochemical than more than the molecular entity or the drug, right? I can go and edit the spiral valence and I can have more of that phytochemical. Right. Right. So now you know how this is what they've been doing. Okay. And I've done this before. So, and you can test for this too. There's several chemical tests that you can like do for all of this. So now one of the things here with the spiral valence is I can do something with seed bacteria conversion too with valences, and also editing the cellular like matrix of bacteria to be able to carry these type of like bacterial processes or these biochemicals. So then we can get better skin products and things like that. That's one of the big things in the skin field. The probiotic that folks were using, it died because they were blasting this chemical in the sky so they can run that spy technology. Yes. So now, okay, that means that 6 investments that we just made are invalid. Thank you. That's what they're trying to hide to from some of the good foundations. Like, we made our money this way. So now seed and nitrogen conversion system. Okay, but what's going to happen in the next 2 years? All your companies are going to tank, especially with the stock market. That's going to shut down because something's going to happen with a major data breach, and they're going to have to put the original code up, and the code that they have to scatter prices and things like that, it's not going to function on the computer. It's going to break. It's not going to populate as an algorithm. It's just going to print as a string. So this is what we've been talking about, VAR versus CHAR. Inside of my coding tutorials, VAR versus CHAR. So now the seed and seed system is where we have like a whole bunch of things that we can restore the soil networks economy, things like that. And that's where you get the white families and climate change hiding this, because a lot of those families knew what they were doing. They were harassing me over this. So then what ends up happening, that's exactly what you get. So now what ended up happening here is I've already done this where I put different seeds together and I got different products. Right, because I have photos. Regular traditional green bean plant right here. This is a different type of plant. This, you have to put a specific coding onto it. So I can show you what that code looks like real quick. I have like an example. Right, and my hand has to activate it. So let's say, for instance, like, let's say, Daisy, us as the foundations, we try to kidnap you and force you to do this work. What will happen? You just get kidnapped and murdered, which some of you guys are going to be finding out a lot of white men and women have died because they were playing. Okay, so okay, well, let's so hypothetically thinking, nothing will happen. It won't work. So let's say we kidnap a busload of kids, which we just did in Detroit, and force them into sex rituals, which we've been doing, and then force them to try to do this, which we've been doing. What will happen? Nothing. Okay, but technically, those kids are kidnapped. You should be helping them. Well, technically, um, remember, none of this is happening. It's not real, right? So that's what they've been doing. So now for the foundations, that's what you guys are being implicated in using data that you're getting to do that. So some people don't know that. That's what's currently going on and why people can't work at the job or they have to leave. So now, yeah, here we go. I have some files on here. Let me just show you like an example of like what one of these files would like look like with a bunch of binary text. You can do this on the computer, or you can do it like this. So some of you guys know MATLAB. It will be something completely different to be able to do a seed editing system. And then I can see on the computer, like, the process of those seeds. The biggest thing though is like a lot of this, these are space systems. They're indigenous space systems. So even if I wanted to sit here and do that, like what would the computer do? Would it be the electrochemistry to force the merging of the two seeds? If the two seeds are not going to merge in the etheric plane, they're not going to merge with electrochemistry, right? So the tech here would only be for to track. Now, the coding system would be where you actualize, right? And then you upload this to the database of the seeds that you want to go ahead and work with. Okay, so then this is where you can also have existing seeds. This is where Asia is going to come up and a bunch of other countries playing on my computer, looking at my work, following me to different places where I was studying, things like that, harassing my old doctors, things like that, farms that I work with or that I'm helping, right? Because I do a lot and looking for recipes. And we can do this in pharmacy and that in pharmacy after we destroyed Asia and gave everyone bad chemicals and put a bunch of chemicals in the bouillon and created a bunch of disgusting people in Asia, right? Because a lot of people are talking about it's the chemicals that they were putting in the food that created all these like young people that are now mentally ill. So now one of the things that's coming out is we could have been had a bunch of new crops and everything because you can bring new crops. Think about like cannabis that's like light lavender purple. Yeah, and it's like a really dope sativa strain, and then we can bring down three new extra strains. It's not just indica or sativa. There's a bunch of other strains and spectrums. That's what they've been looking for and like playing with me for. So police reports, of course, not answered. A bunch of stuff not answered. Me constantly getting harassed. Well, you're under arrest for robbery. What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Or oh, I think I saw this woman. Here's her photo on her YouTube and everything. How do you know her? And how did you identify her in like 8 different thefts? Oh, I don't know. She just popped up. That's not the same person here. This lady doesn't live in this area. Okay, because I know about this case. You're under investigation for playing with her. Okay, I'm gonna have to revoke your access to that system. That's what's been going on. That's what they've been doing because they got caught playing with me. So now another system that we are looking to bring down here is of course, spectrum band, the free internet, but also to the money system where we can put XYZ files on the computer. And because we can play with this spiral valence, I can just throw up, a chemical configuration for gold and I can start streaming that. And then I can just convert that to what would be its computational output, and that's it. But the thing here is like you can't fool the computer. So you either have the computational output or you don't. There you go. And that's what makes the difference between our system and theirs. Ours works great. So now that's another thing with the floating point. If it wasn't real and if it wasn't true, it wouldn't be able to do all these different functions. So people have been watching me change up my computer and build up my computer just by doing this. So one of the things that's happening here now is like, okay, these are the new systems that are going to be coming out. That's very explosive. They can go upload a file to their computer or their phone, and they can have free internet. They even have a new syntax for the IP, and the computer has accepted it. Okay, they don't have to answer to ISO, IEEE, ARIN, Aaron, none of them at all. Okay, how do you get a domain? Because we have our own server. So instead of HTTP, it's it could be like anything. It could even be my name from space, Quiz or Journal, which is it could be QZY. It could be QCY dot, let's say your website. That's it. That's how you guys have your website. That's how everyone moves to the HTTP server. Sorry, everyone moves off the HTTP server to a new server because of what they were doing with it and causing drama. So I just wanted to let you guys know that in the investment in tech, that's where all this like new stuff is coming from. And you can do this and that with robotics, and you can do this and this and that, and we can do clinical trials, and we can do this and that. It's coming from my page. All this with chemistry, and we can do this with the CPU, and we can do that and that. And this is a better system. This is all coming from my computer. They're playing in my computer. A bunch of white supremacists. That also another thing that they do for those of you guys in the foundation space that didn't know. So for those of you guys that didn't know, right? And then for those of you guys that do know. So for those of you guys that already know, these families, they have sex in their family. That's what they got caught doing. So for those of you guys that work in foundations, you're just gonna realize, oh, so that's why you don't want to fund that program, or that's why you were doing that. Oh, you have sex in your family. Oh, that's what's wrong with you. You're delusional. Oh, so that's why you're harassing Daisy. You're looking for some special herb, or you think that her bloods and her fluids are going to restore your race. So that's why almost 8 million people went missing in America over the past 3 years. Oh, okay. That's what they've been doing. They have sex in their family. That's why they're playing on everyone's farm because they're looking for herb. That's why they're looking for my work because they're like, oh, we did. So now some of you guys are like, what's been going on? The California endowment. Let's start with there. Should we start there and let the foundations know, what do you mean you sued the endowment in 2020? Why didn't I hear about that? That's major news. Right. Yeah, I sued the California endowment because one of their staff members, Castle Redmond, who a lot of you guys know, but you're wondering, why haven't I heard from him? They moved him to another location because he got caught in the Bay Area as a white supremacist. Castle's half white. His mom is white. He was sleeping with different white women who he was financing, like paying their rent, paying for their car notes, paying for their health insurance. Okay, well, can't you get like Obamacare? Okay, yeah, they don't have good doctors. Okay, but I'm gonna pay your enrollment once. Okay, but other than that, you have to pay for this yourself. It's like $3,000, nothing. And using his salary to give her money to play with witchcraft, a white woman who was removed as a public defender. Sorry, not a public defender, a probation officer for Alameda County because she was trying to have sex with one of her young people. Right. So she was playing on my phone, harassing me, gathering people up to play with magic. So I told the endowment, and then Daisy, I'll talk to Juliana because Castle doesn't know I recorded our phone call, and that's one of the things that's going to come out. Okay, so, but the phone call's recorded though. Okay, but you know what you were doing though. You were giving her money. You were giving her half your salary. Okay, but we have all her transactions. That's the big thing coming up right now with the feds that everyone told on them. People came and told me what they were doing. Right. So when this started, one of their primary staff, she cut to Boston. She ran away to Boston. She caught a flight to Boston, literally, right? And ran away because everyone found out what they were doing. And she like, oh, I don't want to get blacklisted. I want to be able to keep a job. So that's what's going on. So you sued the endowment and their legal counsel, Martha Jimenez, who I told everything, and I was constantly in communication with her. So after every phone call that I was getting, after every cyber attack that I was getting, where dozens of people were harassing me online, right? After people coming around my house, shooting and things like that, leaving stuff at my door, breaking the front door, leaving dead birds at my house. That's big in the Spanish community, right? After all of that, that was all like going on. I was sending her emails so she knows what was going on. And the judge does too. And so do the lawyers. Right. So did they answer any of that? And that she had proof and that you could have just checked her transactions and that could have been done. So we're still here. So because I sued them, they hacked my computer, they stole my coding work. They went stole from my bank account. They followed me to Atlanta and started a huge war in Atlanta and uploaded half my building. They killed 4 people that were also doing advocacy work and organizing against them, sneaking into their house, putting meat, human meat in their food. That's one of the things that the endowment got caught up with, and that's how all the foundations got caught. They were feeding people human meat, killing different activists, and starting a bunch of shit. Right, which my system can expose because she can find any cell phone record, any court document, anything that's been deleted from the internet since the inception of the internet, she can find it. Anything that's ever touched that FTP protocol, HTTP protocol, HTTPS protocol, and then the protocol before HTTP, HTTP, the protocol before that, I can find any of that. Right. So now here's another thing like, wait, what do you mean? You can find out that we've actually been the ones funding the chaos in the community than trying to fund racial justice. You're gonna find out that we were the ones funding like those militant militia groups in Mexico, and they were slaughtering all the black people for their farms. Okay, too many of them went missing though, and Mexico has a permanent smell. Okay, yeah, Martha Jimenez. They're gonna find out that I was the one funding the CJJM cartel, and they were cutting off people's heads. And why did all these blacks think that they can like tell on us? Okay, we're not doing too well in America. Like, look at all of our women. Look what's going on. None of us can really get jobs, and you wanted to come here across the border and take our jobs? No. So we cut off all their arms. So we amputated all their kids. Yeah, we went into schools and whole busloads of kids, whole classrooms filled with kids. It doesn't really matter. They're niggers. That's what they were doing. That's what she got caught doing. So then, because she saw my work and said, this can actually like really backfire and destroy me and expose me. Let's switch people's kids at birth so we can harass them. They did that and got caught. My email is going to be jumping in a few days, and there's something else I need to show you. And then, well, yeah, all of our other associates, who's this nigger? And she thinks that she's smart. We can do that work. Here, do this. Okay, well, this is what's going to happen. We'll put a vexatious litigant so that if she tries to go to the court and tell on us for stealing her work or harassing her, the court will say no. Okay, yeah, but everyone's fighting and complaining. That's what they did. That's what's currently going on. And that's why they think that they can play my computer like that. But guess what? They don't have anything. And this is where we come with them going to several meetings with investors like, oh, we can do this and we can do that and we can do that. She's one of our advisors. Yeah, she's really cool. Yeah, dude, we shouldn't have done that. Like, oh, bitch, and you nigger and you ape. Yeah, we shouldn't have started that because now we need her hand. Now we need her help. Oh, they said that they don't want to invest in us because they said that they heard about Daisy's work. Okay, they said that if we're not working with Daisy, they don't trust us for cybersecurity. So when you guys come on here, right? Because there's a lot of people that watch my channel and you're seeing this. Remember, that's why you're sick. You can't find a job. You're getting shot at, and a bunch of stuff is going on. So now some of you guys are hearing, like, okay, so the endowment started this, and they thought that they were going to get this from you. That makes sense. They thought that they were going to flush their pockets again. They wasted a bunch of money paying people to harass you. Those people ended up getting arrested, and they had to make bail. The bail bondsmen were alerted all at once early on. They're not getting settled. Those cases are not getting dropped, so they wouldn't give them bail. So you got to cash out of pocket, which is going to come up again. So the endowment lost all their money and they're closing. Some of you guys are just not finding out. The California endowment is closing. They're closing. Here's an article. Let me show you a different article. Right. Yeah, and we have Judy Belk on our side, and she even had a problem with Judy Belk. Oh, wow. Okay. But I've never met Judy Belk. Okay. And I never had a problem with anybody at Cal Wellness. Okay. I actually worked on a project that Cal Wellness funded. Yeah, I was a contractor for them at once, like for a statewide HIV project. Judy Belk is J. Cole's auntie, Jermaine Cole. Oh, because his auntie is friends with all the rappers that also got caught because Kim Kardashian and them got involved in this. Here, this goes right here. Yeah, so when I sued the California Endowment, remember, Castle Redmond, his best friend is dun 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 Matt Haney. Oh, and yeah, they're under investigation for what they were doing in criminal justice. So I see how this all got started. Thank you. So remember, they're friends. They started that. And yeah, I wouldn't like just start anything. And I'm not white. How do you know my mom was white? Yeah, I'm dating a white woman. Actually, that's how this got started. That's how this all started with the endowment because Castle beat her ass. And he was like, oh, well, here, let me keep you quiet. Dating a white woman. Here we go. Attorney General's office for the state of California. Some of you guys don't know you got caught in this. Yeah. Zero Divide, a nonprofit that does coding. They were building hacking tech for all of them. They got caught. Judy Belk got several people murdered because who she gave that technology to. That's how they got caught. Judy Belk got removed as president of Cal Wellness. Ebony Beckwith, Salesforce removed. Latifah Simon removed. Yeah. So now another thing's going to come out with the endowment. Like we had no idea what she's talking about. This is so crazy. This has been a problem for a while. Now, the endowment doesn't know that I have is a specific recording right? And it's a recording of their president and CEO coming downstairs because I went up there. Like, why are you playing with science technology? What are you doing in my computer? Why is half of LA missing for clinical trial testings in the Spanish community and everyone's talking about you? Okay, what are you doing with LA power and water? And why is all the water being tainted here and everyone's complaining? Okay, they pulled the body out of their water supply though, right? Because that's what they were doing with Frank Salas, the former administrator for LADP Water, DPW Water. Now, one of the other things that's coming out here is I have a recording of Robert Ross. I went there, sitting in the lobby, complaining about these things. He comes downstairs. La da 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 da. What virtual reality? Oh, Miss Olsen, you're here. Oh, yeah, we did put that vexatious litigant on you. Yeah, we did try to put a restraining order on you, and it got canceled in the court because I went there, right? So remember, if I was supposed to have any of these orders that were court approved and not done under the table with Willie Brown, shouldn't I have gotten arrested? I didn't get arrested. I went there like 5 times. Nothing happened. Robert Ross came downstairs and said, "Oh, hey, Miss Olsen, yeah, you know what? Contact my assistant. Get on my calendar. But remember, they owe me a settlement in court, which you're about to come and see about too, because I got a settlement in the mail, right? And it came with the check, like, oh, just take this and don't say anything else." And I'm like, "What the fuck? No, we're gonna go to court." Yeah, and everyone's complaining about it, but why are you doing this? Oh, but it's you that's doing it because she has a letter from the police that it came in the mail. And this is how LAPD ended up getting caught up. Who's the person that sent her that letter, that document? Because she was ordered to settle Daisy out of court. How does she know about this? Here it is right here. Do you guys want to see the video? Because they got caught playing with me like that. Like, oh, everyone found out about Daisy's work. Like, oops, let's move away from her. Yeah. Oh, ooh. Okay, I didn't know all this was gonna come out. I didn't know Castle was a rapist and a murderer. That's another thing that came out. Castle's a serial killer. He's murdered many women. He's actually under investigation and a primary suspect in 2 women disappearing from a social justice conference he went to. What are you talking about? Yeah, the president, oh, like, hey, get on my calendar. We'll do your settlement. Right here. That's what I'm saying. This should have been done a long time ago. They're playing because they think that they're gonna get some code. Like, okay, no, we won't pay her, and then she'll have to give us the code. Okay, yeah, but like they're gonna say that we stole from her and that we're trying to make her homeless and stuff like that. Okay, but we need code. They just can't get this like go off after all that happened. We kidnapped and molested all their kids. We stole all their work. We played with all of them at work. We started hella drama with them at work. We put feces in their food. We snuck into their house with human meat. We killed their family members. We killed one of Daisy's cousins. He was a lawyer in the UK. We started hella shit. Her auntie died because of us because she was calling all the churches. Okay, no, we look stupid, right? So that's when they caught having sex in their family. That got exposed, major. Castle got exposed as a serial killer because somebody leaked his information inside of a virtual reality. Castle's also under investigation for being involved with COINTELPRO because there was something that ended up getting started, which is very vicious. The murder of Joyce Chiang. Some of you guys remember that early on in DC because of the war on drugs advocacy that came out of that, because of how they try to blame a bunch of young Black kids. But Joyce was an immigration attorney. So then, oh, let's play with the Spanish community. Puerto Rico early on. Yeah, it was Castle and DC Metro Police. It was an ordered hit. So now that came out, and the investigators knew Castle was under investigation because DC Metro Police keeps on coming out because somebody tapped my phone and they saw somebody calling me about Rayful Edmond. And no, not in the middle of this. And we're trying to hide this with Castle and Daisy because she just sued them and we rigged her court. Because if this comes out, then this can start a bunch of shit. That's what happened. So now you guys are finding out the secret hand that's been playing and that they have no fucking money. The endowment's closing. Here we go. Yeah. California endowment, it's not closing, but we're no longer giving out grants. We're only doing investments. How much chaos has been happening because we were playing with magic? Right. So this is the video. You guys can go watch this about Robert Ross. It's like right here. And you can see him coming down here. After, ooh, Okay, security, can you email the assistant and say, is tomorrow fine for the meeting? Because they don't get my email supposedly. They all get kicked back. Right. Yes. And he said it. Come, go talk to my assistant like that. It's right here. If you go in here, you will see him like standing right behind me. Okay, so you guys should go and like watch this video. Right. There's something very serious that's happening because of this right now. Because they know what we're doing, because everyone complained about it. What's going on with Daisy? Why do I keep on seeing and hearing her voice though? But I keep on hearing about you with the virtual reality. Okay, so you handle that, okay? So now you guys see what's been going on. Their family are all COINTELPRO. So that's how they all got investigated because of Castle. So now you guys are seeing this here. So one of the other things to see here is that the California endowment is going to be closing. They're no longer giving out grants. They're becoming an investment firm. That means no more grants for the community. They're closing. She's right. Right. Yeah. So what investment are they looking for? Daisy's work. All right. All right. So everyone in foundation, right? Yeah, I'm sarcastic because I mean, like, who wouldn't be with this type of nonsense, right? So now a lot of you guys know me, like, okay, yeah, Daisy, I remember you were doing like health work. Like you had this like public health thing, work that you were doing with trauma. And I've been looking for you because they put like this like fake like, oh, trauma initiative from the state. And I was like, where's Daisy? Right. And this is where a bunch of people got caught up, like Conra Paul, Rice Center, and like one other organization because they were involved with it because they thought that they were going to get funding from the endowment and then go out and say, look, we're not ops. I know how to talk like Daisy talks. I can do what Daisy can do because they're ops. They got caught. It's done. So here is the health work that I was doing. And this is where everyone's going to shut up because I put out them for trauma healing and recovery. It's you have to play with a certain type of like etheric medicine. Now, one of the things though that's going to end up happening, right? Like, oh, are you sure though? Like that, are you sure? Here, before we even move forward, do I have evidence? I do. I have evidence from several people. One specifically is a woman that actually died in the UK, Jamaica Stand Up, actually Grenada Stand Up, Auntie Tuesday, that passed away from the UK. Auntie Tuesday was specifically being given a medication that she did not need. Auntie Tuesday had something put in her food and they knew what was going on with Auntie Tuesday because they uploaded her to virtual reality. Before I even Tuesday, because I have this all recorded, which I'm going to put on YouTube, and it's going to start a war in the UK with how Auntie Tuesday passed away, which is still going over land rights. Some of you guys are watching what's going on in Guyana right now with the Indians playing. Auntie Tuesday was the one settling them. Auntie Tuesday got a reading from me. Let me talk to this lady. Let's see. Hey, Auntie Tuesday, I can see something's going on with your liver. I can see something's going on with your pancreas and then something with your digestion, but I see like an abscess on top of your liver. Wait, how did you know that? Yeah, I just got an x-ray done a couple days ago. You're right. What the hell? How could you see that? I have it all on camera. Auntie Tuesday, there's something going on with, I can see like the x-rays. You got some x-rays? Okay, there's like two of them that are not like proper, but it says like this is on their x-ray, but they're not looking at it properly. It's not populating properly, the abscess. So it looks like that there's like some tumor activity, but it's actually this. Never saw her medical records. I've not met this woman in person. We didn't communicate prior. How did I know that? How did I? Right. How did I know that? I'm gonna put that video on YouTube, and this is what I'm talking about. They compromised all of public health so they can go play with incest and play with my work after they try to blacklist me because I sued them because they were playing with me. Right, because Martha Jimenez is disgusting and she likes playing with black people. So now what happens here is like, okay, yeah, now we need her work and we lost everything. Oh, so that's what's been going on in the foundation space. Oh, okay. Now I see what's been going on. And then everyone got defunded because you were playing with Martha, playing with magic, or playing with Latifah Simon, playing with magic. What does Latifah Simon have to do with this? She was playing with Matt Haney. You know, that's like her boyfriend. And she was playing with my name because she was like, okay, well, if I can play with Daisy, then Matt won't like be interested in her. Then he'll look at me and okay, if I do enough, if I start enough shit, he'll think I'm trustworthy. Latifah, what's going on? Hey, Matt. Okay, Daisy. Daisy's a really big problem. I just tell you what she's starting. No, Matt, this one is actually big. No, I think you need to listen to what I have to say because she's like really lying right now. And she's like telling about like different dates and different events. And I'm like, I was there too. Never happened. She wanted to have sex with him. She started this and she got fired. Good. So now her university is thinking about revoking her degree and a bunch of shit is getting started in the nonprofit space. Period. Don't ever speak to me again. Right. So now platform to help people with different diseases and things like that. My medical writings got put into chat GTP. Um, right. Okay, well, my work, I should be working, stuff like that. Yeah, you have a business, right? You can just email people, do contracts, stuff like that. Oh, because they're watching your email, then they're blocking your email, then they're going into their email and contacting people. Like, oh, I heard that you were looking for this. Like, yeah, I haven't heard from Daisy though. Okay, maybe I'll go with them. That's what they were doing. Thank you. So now, right, the California endowment, I have no idea what that is. Like, I really have no idea what she's talking about. I don't really know. She claims that we're doing this and that. I have no idea. Okay, but you are doing this, Martha, because CGJ and Cartel, that's you. Because we've been getting emails about you for years from ACLU, et cetera, that you're a part of like white supremacist terror groups in Spanish America. Okay, yeah. And all of a sudden, right, 8 Supreme Court justices in Mexico have to be removed because they were playing with Martha, right? And then all of a sudden, the Latino Democratic Party, everyone gets removed. Hella police officers in the Spanish community get fired. So now another thing that I wanted to show you guys here with this is, okay, so we have an option, we have a system. So the free money system and the card system, remember, we're gonna have our own internet. If I really want to get ignorant, I'm just going to start passing out gift cards to people and like, what, how much is on here? How much do you want to be on there? So yeah, we can leave you alone and stop raping kids thinking that we're gonna get spiritual coding powers, which is what they were doing. It's a bunch of white families that were gathering up a bunch of black and brown children and molesting them, chopping them up, sewing them to different aquatic beings, feeding them my photos, which is how a bunch of agents came here. Who's this woman? And why do I keep on seeing this? And what's all this paper with all these colors and dots and slashes and okay, UTF. Hmm. What? Right. That's what's been going on. That's how everyone's kids went missing. In California, we have an ebony alert system specific for blacks. It was Martha Jimenez that started that. So now one of the things here is Edgar Khan, right? JFK speechwriter. He helped create the public defender program. He helped to create Georgetown Law Center and a bunch of other places where we started getting free legal help, right, in the community. If it wasn't for Edgar, we wouldn't have that. So meeting with him, like, do you know that this is what they're actually doing, Daisy? Okay, you know JFK, you know what they did to him. I just have to tell you, I'm old. I don't want to deal with this, but this is what they're doing. Okay, listen, kid, this is how you're going to find how to protect yourself, okay? This is what you have to do. That's going to be going for days. This is what you have to do. If they get to you and I'm not here anymore, you know who to call, and they're watching, right? So that's another thing too that they're going to try to hide. Edgar Khan, what the fuck? Oh, okay, because you guys really did that, right? They really did that. So now what's happening here is like, okay, yeah, but you guys just can't have your own money. And after what we did with Black Lives Matter, right? Because everyone's asking, Alicia Garza, what happened to all that money? Drama. That's why they funded them because they're filled with drama. Now you see what's happening with Alicia Garza? Drama. Everyone's getting about her. What's her name? Amy Price, Zuckerberg. She's not from Zuckerberg. She's from Zellerbach. Amy Price from Zellerbach Family Foundation. Daisy, Alicia is horrible. Everyone is talking about her. Did you hear about this? Oh no, I didn't. What the fuck? Oh, that was quick. Yeah, that's how I found out that they fell off early on. It was the foundation that told me before they got involved with Martha and them. That's how everyone's been getting blacklisted because everyone went to go tell the different foundations. That's how I found out about Alicia Garza and Latifah Simon. It was somebody that works in the foundation. Like, did you hear about this? Oh, they what? That's disgusting. She sent you a video. I would never speak to Daisy again. Hey, I have a question. Where's that video you said Daisy sent around? Who was this woman? That's not Daisy. Daisy's like 6 feet tall. That's like somebody that's like 5'4". And look at the tattoo on her back. You guys need to stop doing that. Okay, because my body, my butt is big. So they're like, okay, let's just use that. You know what they'll say? Why are you worried about that? Why are you focused there? Move your head, turn your head, turn your head. People, turn your head. So now here we go with this document that you guys can go look at about how every single last court document involved in this has 37 in it because it was about magic the whole time, just random. Now, one of the things that I wanted to show you here in regards to the chemistry, like, but if the chemistry wasn't real, and if I didn't know what I was talking about with my tutorials, and if I wasn't like calling out things as they were happening, why did the director of chemical safety contact me from Department of Homeland Security? Yeah, because of what they were doing. Like, I don't want to be involved, and I have a business. So, Mark 537, Mr. Glasser, he's handling his business. He's going to be able to work with us. It's something that's going to happen where I come and do classes at Department of Homeland Security, and Mr. Glasser will, he'll be able to understand like the changes in chemistry. So he's trying to bring me in and things like that so that there's less chaos because he's a regulator, right? And I can get in trouble. So this is one of the things that's we're working on right now. Another thing that they don't want to tell you is that they went to go play games and Alex Zhu stepped into this. That's how they went to go arrest and deport most of the Asians. Alex Zhu from Bite Go. Sorry, Alex XU. Yeah, and because they uploaded us to virtual reality as well, we were talking in the virtual reality, like, okay, what do you think we should do with this and this and that? Okay, I could talk about that. Uh-huh. Most of computer science has been on my channel. Alex Zhu, yes, like several times. Like I'll put something out on my channel, the next day he'll put something out. I'll put something up, and the next day he'll put something out, like just showing people, like, hey, pay attention to this, what we're doing and how we're like leading this year because of what they got started. Okay. So I just want to let you guys know that there's going to be complete changes to like biotech, complete changes to tech. For the biotech, I'm gonna go in a little bit like more because tonight, every Friday coding tutorial, like edutainment, like get your wine, get your psychedelics, you know, Netflix and chill, get your little friend, your little cut buddy, your little sneaky link, and come and learn something, right? And we get our paper pens out. You guys are going to need a periodic table for this activity so you can print it out or save it on your desktop. And you're going to need the VSEPR chart. Okay. So we do constant tutorials and I'm teaching people here and things like that. And we'll go more into the biotech then because there's so much in that biotech that has to come out. And especially for the Indian sisters that are watching here, I know that that's going to really rock their socks off. So, anyways, you guys, that's all I have to say. I just wanted to come and let you guys know changes to foundation and investment. Be careful with your money. You don't have to invest in us, really, because we're not really asking for investment. You just have to be mindful of what you're doing and the fact that it's involving children going missing and people getting robbed. So whites can go and like make it seem like they know what they're doing, right? And they don't.